Hello everyone and welcome to Music Theory with Gim. In this installment of Analyzing Harmony, we're going to delve into the Road to Agartha from Madara on the Famicom. Before we get into any music theory, however, let's take a listen to the music. The theme is set in the tonality of D with its mode being minor. Harmonically, the theme consists of only 4 chords, which are D minor 9, C sharp minor 9, C minor 9, and B minor 9. As you might have noticed, all of these chords are of the same quality and are a semitone apart from one another, meaning we have quite a chromatic set of chords on our hands. If we add Roman numerals, we have the minor 1, 7, flat 7, and 6. But this doesn't really provide us any more insight than the chord symbols do regarding function or purpose. So what are these chords doing and how are they operating or functioning? Well, at first it might seem like this is a perfect opportunity to whip out the old non-functional label and call it a day. But to me, each of these chords has a clearly defined purpose when the theme is analyzed as a whole through the lens of structural analysis. But before we can start determining function, we need to determine the context these chords reside in, especially since we're dealing with such chromatic harmony. Doing so will reveal that during the first half of the theme, we're going to hear D minor 9 move to and from C sharp minor 9, with each chord receiving the duration of 2 full measures. In the second half of the theme, we hear the same progression, except now we're starting from C minor 9 and moving to and from B minor 9. And again, each of these chords will receive the duration of 2 full measures. That is, until measures 15 and 16 sound B minor 9 for only a single measure, followed by C minor 9 for 2 beats, and then C sharp minor 9 for a single beat. Following this, the theme hits its loop point, sending us back to its beginning, which sounds the chord D minor 9. Now that we understand where the chords appear and have a context for them, we can begin understanding the local and global functions of each chord. Locally, each half of the theme is structurally one chord prolonged by a neighbor chord. D minor 9 is prolonged by C sharp minor 9. And C minor 9 is prolonged by B minor 9. When we zoom out and consider the theme on a global scale, we can state that the second half of the theme prolongs the first half. Or in other words, D minor 9 is the structural chord on a global scale, and C minor 9 is a prolonging neighbor chord. This is similar to the other neighbor chord relationships, except that the chords are separated by a whole tone and not a semitone. That and the fact that this prolongation occurs on a much larger scale. Taking a look at the melody will reinforce this interpretation because we'll find that it is entirely built around the use of neighbor tones on a structural level. In the first half of the theme, we hear E as the structural note being prolonged by its lower neighbor tone, D sharp. In measures 1 through 4, this core idea is embellished by each of the 2 tones leaping down by fifth to A and G sharp, respectively. In measures 5 through 8, the only embellishment is E moving to and from its upper neighbor tone, F, before it descends to D sharp. In the second half of the theme, the melody is transposed almost in a pure manner. The only differences are that the descending fifths have been inverted to be ascending fourths, which was probably done as a means to generate variety, and the final measure sounds C sharp walking back up to E by passing through D and D sharp atop the chords C minor 9 and C sharp minor 9. So in the first half of the theme, we have the structural note E prolonged by its lower neighbor tone D sharp, and in the second half, we have D prolonged by its lower neighbor tone C sharp, meaning that on a global scale, we see that, like the harmony, E becomes the structural note and it is prolonged by its lower neighbor tone D. And that's really all there is for this analysis. We have a really simple theme that makes a lot of sense when you consider the context rather than focus on only the fact that the chords are chromatic and not really linked to a single key or scale. And if you're a composer, especially one working on video game music or music for television or film, I definitely recommend sticking this concept in your bag of tools, as it's a great way to develop themes intended to establish and prolong a given mood. Also, do make note that this concept is by no means required to use descending motion or move chords by only a single semitone at a time. It's more so about creating layers of prolongation with constant structures. Anyways, with this in mind as well as the rest of the analysis, let's take another listen to The Road to Agartha and then bring this episode to a close. For those of you that are patrons, you can expect to receive a PDF containing the analysis present in this episode. I do not expect to make any additional commentaries on this particular piece, but if I do, you'll certainly gain access to those as well. Of course, as my patrons, it is encouraged that should you have any thoughts or questions regarding this analysis or the theme as a whole, reach out to me. For those of you that are not patrons but would like to support my endeavors, be certain to subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment below, and share the video as often as you can on social media platforms. If you find yourself wanting to take your support to the next level, hop on over to patreon.com/gim and consider pledging some coin. If you're not a user of Patreon or simply want to make a single financial contribution, you can do so via PayPal, the link to which can be found in the description below. These videos do take a lot of time and effort, so any support on your end is greatly appreciated. Either way, until next time, thank you for watching this episode of Music Theory with Gim.